Hello and welcome to Byjus' Exam Prep IAS. I welcome all of you to today's daily quiz session. Before we begin analyzing today's questions, here's a gentle quick reminder. In case you are looking for expert guidance for your UPSC CSC preparation, then you can fill up the Google form that has been provided in the description of today's video. Once we have your details, we can organize a one-on-one counseling session for you from our experts. So kindly do it if not already. And now coming back to today's agenda, let's have a look at the first question we have for discussion. The first question is in the form of two statements where we talk about disease X. Why has this question been picked up? This question has been taken due to an article in the Economic Times that talks about how the Serum Institute of India has joined hands with a Norway, Oslo-based foundation which is known as CEPI. The organization CEPI is a foundation that works by taking donations from civil society groups, individuals, philanthropists. The reason is to finance independent research in vaccine development. All of this being done for getting prepared in the threat of newly emerging infectious diseases. Now, we are living in the times of epidemics and pandemics, from SARS to COVID to the Marburg virus. We know that the way viruses and pathogens have been mutating, the WHO, the World Health Organization, feels that there is a real threat of a future pandemic that could be more fatal, that could have much higher mortality as compared to the ones that we have seen already. So in this light, both these institutes have joined hands, and the first statement talks about disease X. It says disease X is a name that has been adopted by the World Health Organization on their shortlist of blueprint priority diseases to represent a hypothetical, an imaginary, unknown pathogen that could cause a future epidemic. The first statement is absolutely valid because disease X was a name that was in fact adopted by the WHO back in 2018. Reason being that WHO feels the upcoming pandemics will be more unknown, more difficult to understand, and hence more difficult to treat. So therefore, disease X here becomes a hypothetical predictive model for us to have a preparedness against these infections, and the first statement is valid. Coming to the second statement that talks about the structural aspect of WHO, it talks about World Health Assembly. That World Health Assembly is WHO's decision-making body, which is attended by delegations from all WHO member states. Indeed, another valid statement. It's true because the WHA is not only the decision-making wing of WHO, it also takes decisions on financial policies, it appoints the Director General, and it takes other important policy-making decisions. So both the statements here are absolutely correct, making C the right answer. Proceeding with the second question on your screen, let's consider the following statements and then see which of these is correct. The first statement talks about Darjeeling tea in the context of GI tag index. Once again, why do we have this question here with us? The reason is a very interesting article in the Economic Times of today, which talks about GI tag indexes associated with various states in India. We might have heard about how India being a canvas of rich cultural diversity. We see unique products getting manufactured from north, south, east to west, and well, that's the purpose of the GI tag index, to make sure that products that have originated in one geographical region are tagged as a mark of their purity, as a mark of their originality, so as to provide authentic representation of local culture. With this in mind, let's look at the first statement of this question. It talks about Darjeeling tea, that Darjeeling tea was the first Indian product to get the GI tag index, the geographical index. True, it's a completely correct statement. The second statement talks about Langia Saura paintings. It says Langia Saura paintings are a unique style of wall mural art from the state of Uttar Pradesh. It is a semi-correct statement. Indeed, Langia Saura is it's a very renowned wall mural painting. It's a tribal painting that is created by the Saura tribes, but not from UP, in fact from the state of Odisha. So the Odisha tribe of Sauras, they are famous for the Langia Saura paintings. Coming to the third statement of the question, it talks about the GI tagged product art form known as Tarkashi. In fact, in a broader sense, it's referred to as Mainpuri Tarkashi. Mainpuri Tarkashi refers to the art form where weavers and artisans, they actually create beautiful gold silver patterns on wooden panels, on wooden bases. The statement says that this art belongs to Odisha. Well, it's a jumble up here because the Tarkashi art from Mainpuri is a very well-known GI index tag from the state of Uttar Pradesh. So making the second and the third statements wrong, and we are left with just one correct statement, making A the right answer. So now let's hop to the third question of the day. On your screen, you see three statements, a question that has been taken up from science and technology. In the first statement, we talk about the Haber process. The Haber process, also referred to as the Haber-Bosch process, is it's a very well-known industrial procedure for production of ammonia. The reason why we have the question in the first place is once again a PIB release of today, which says how Indian Renewable Energy Company, the ACME, has signed up a major deal of supplying green ammonia to Japan. So India will supply huge quantities of green ammonia to Japan. Green ammonia, we might have heard in the context of green hydrogen. Both these are being seen as potent, environmental friendly, productive fuels of the future, given that they have carbon neutrality. They have zero carbon footprint. They are clean green energy. In that context, the first statement here, it's absolutely correct because the Haber process reminds us of the famous Nobel Prize winning laureate scientist who discovered the process of ammonia synthesis. It is indeed the Haber process through which nitrogen is used to synthesize or to create ammonia. How? By conducting a reaction with hydrogen. So the first statement here is valid. Second statement says Japan is the largest producer of ammonia across the globe. What do you think? This is incorrect because not Japan, in fact it is China that's the largest producer of ammonia globally. Coming to the third statement, green ammonia. What is green ammonia? So when the manufacturing process behind ammonia is such that there is no carbon footprint, there is no pollution or environmental toxicity involved, it is referred to as green ammonia. As I said, the fuel which is the fuel of the future. So green ammonia has applications in the production of carbon neutral fertilizer products, and it also has a potential as future climate neutral shipping fuel. An absolutely valid statement because not only does green ammonia provide an important raw material in agriculture, in the manufacturing of eco-friendly fertilizers, it also has a huge potent application to work as shipping fuel, cutting not only cost of production but also it is extremely environmental friendly. So we mean that the 1 and 3 statements here are valid, making D your correct answer. With this, let's proceed with the fourth question of the day. This is a sports related question. Why is it here? It's here because of a news from Economic Times which says that the very famous Indian tennis player, Rohan Bopanna, has become the oldest tennis player in history to reach the top spot, the top niche spot in men's doubles tennis. So, coming back to the question, the first statement says Youth Hunt Cup and the Corbelan Cup, they are associated with the game of lawn tennis. Only one of this is correct. Indeed, the Youth Hunt Cup is associated with the game of lawn tennis, but what about the Corbelan Cup? Not really. The Corbelan Cup belongs to women table tennis game. And hence, the first statement is partially correct. It's wrong. Coming to the second statement, it says the International Hockey Federation is the international governing body. It's the apex body of field hockey, indoor field hockey and ice hockey. So what do you have to say for this one? Well, once again, slightly confusing because indeed FIH governs the field hockey. It does govern the indoor field hockey but not the ice hockey. The reason being that ice hockey is governed by World Ice Hockey Federation, not the FIH. So we mean that both these statements then are wrong. They are incorrect, making D your valid answer. Now, since we have finished our quiz questions, let's see the PYQ that has been picked up for today. This has been taken from 2018 UPSC Prelims. It says, the Rule of Law Index is released by which of the following organizations? The first is Amnesty International. The second, International Court of Justice. Third is the Office of UN Commissioner for Human Rights. And the last option, D, says World Justice Report. Pretty easy question. Indeed, it is the WJP, the World Justice Report, which releases the Rule of Law Index, because the World Justice Project happens to be the civil society organization at the international level, which periodically releases a measurement, a quantitative measurement, which is referred to as Rule of Law Index. The purpose is to analyze and see across various countries of the globe which country is most law-abiding. What is the status of law abidance, law adherence in a particular country? And on the basis of this, the ranking is prepared and published. Hence, D will be the correct answer here. Now, to our last segment of the quiz, which is an interesting fact of the day. Once again, we are talking about environment and biodiversity, because what we have today is the Gobardhan scheme. A lot of you may also have heard about the Godhan scheme that is very popular in Chhattisgarh. The purpose behind schemes like Gobardhan or the Godhan scheme that I'm talking about, these are schemes that are trying to promote a circular, sustainable economy. An economy that works in loop, an economy where nothing gets wasted, where the waste of one sector becomes the raw material for another. In this light, the Gobardhan scheme, which was initially launched by the Union government back in 2018, has recently, in fact yesterday, it has been reviewed by the Union Ministry, by the Union government, the Ministry of Jal Shakti. They have reviewed the success and the implementation of the scheme because it is one of its own kind. It stands for Galvanizing Organic Bio-Agro Resources Dhan. Dhan here means money or wealth, resource. Under the scheme, the government is trying to push towards converting all the agriculture organic bio-waste into something useful, something that can be applied back into agriculture. Say, for example, utilizing cow dung, cattle dung, animal waste, biodegradable organic leftovers, and then these to be converted into useful fuels like CBG, the compressed biogas, or into biogas and other forms of organic manure, which can make sure that not only does agriculture productivity gets a boost, but also there is no carbon footprint that's created in the process. So hence, this becomes a novel concept of the government, and it is being referred to as the whole of government approach. It's a very holistic approach. It is about zero waste. It's about waste minimization. It is about also creating livelihoods in the rural area. You might have heard how in Chhattisgarh, multitude of women have found livelihood through self-help groups which purchase cow dung as a leftover from farmers, from poor farmers and poor dairy farmers. And then this is utilized by the self-help groups. It's converted into usable manure. It's converted into herbicides and various other forms of products that have a demand in the market. So hence, it provides a steady income to the farmers. The government gives an MSP on them, and it is creating the concept of livelihood generation, environmental friendly inputs, as well as waste minimization. So that's exactly what the Gobardhan scheme stands for. Also, back in 2023, the Union government, the finance minister, had allocated a massive investment of more than rupees 10 crores towards further boosting this scheme. The ministry tried to create 500 new waste to wealth plants for promoting the idea of this circular economy. So hope you enjoyed this segment. With this, I take your leave today. See you soon. All the best, and thank you, all of you.